Hi, kitty kitty. Do you want to say anything? Hi there. My name is Ainsley, and I will be going to Disneyland Paris next month. Next month will be the opening of Disney Adventure World out in Disneyland Paris, so I'm super excited. I will be heading out with my mom next month, but I just wanted to make this video to go over a bit of our trip details, do a little bit of a prep and plan for this trip, see what we've got going on. We're just super excited to go on this trip to this brand new park. Not brand new, but new to us park. I have been to Disneyland Paris once before. I went in 2021 when it was all affected by COVID, so I'm very excited to go to this park again and see the way that it operates outside of COVID. And I also didn't get to see the castle when I went in 2021. It was boarded up to be repainted, so I'm super excited to see that. But I think we can just go ahead and jump into what we're planning for this trip, go over where we'll be going to eat, where we'll be staying, what we'll be doing day to day, and all of that good stuff. If you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my computer that I have here in my lap. I have a note on my computer that has all of our details for what we'll be doing, a bit of a rough itinerary for what I'd like for our trip to look like, but other than that, it's going to be a very loose itinerary. Of course, I don't have everything planned day for day, minute for minute, and I think I kind of prefer it that way. I'd just rather have a skeleton going into this trip. So here we have our Disneyland Paris itinerary, as well as everything that I plan on packing as far as outfits are concerned. I'm trying to be a bit more concise about what kind of outfits that I'd like to wear for each day, what kind of function I suppose that they would serve. What I'm trying to sort of recognize for each park day, if it's a Frozen outfit for the new Frozen land that's opening up, or if it's something for the castle, something for this, something for that, etc., etc. My mom and I will be leaving from Chicago O'Hare on Tuesday, March 24th. My roommate from the Disney College program, her name is Brooke. She is actually working at Disneyland Paris right now. She is a cast member out there, so we're going out there to celebrate her and support her in the opening of this new extension of the park. If you have seen any of our Disneyland videos from when my college program friend group all went out to Disneyland, you definitely know who Brooke is, but if you haven't, that's sort of the main reason that we're going out, is to go and support her and see her and celebrate the new opening of this land. We will land from our flight on Wednesday, March 25th. That'll be sort of the time change that happens from Chicago to Paris. So we'll be landing in Charles de Gaulle around 9 a.m. I believe. From the airport, we would like to take the TGV high-speed train from the airport to Chessy, which is where Disneyland Paris is located. I really got to get better with my French pronunciation. I don't necessarily know that Chessy is the correct way to pronounce the city that Disneyland Paris is located in. Let's actually look it up.
Chessy.
Okay, it says Chessy. I don't know if that's right. I guess we'll find out once we get there, but yes, I am working on my French. It's a work in progress. I don't think I covered this, but my mom and I are actually staying for 7 nights and 8 days, which is just an extensive amount of time to be at Disneyland Paris. Most people know it as a 1-day park, maybe even a 3-day park if you want to stretch it across a weekend, but 7 to 8 days is kind of an insane amount of time to spend at Disneyland Paris. A part of that reasoning is because we wanted to make sure that we were there in time to adjust to the time zone, make sure that we were all good to rock and roll for the day that Adventure World will open on the 29th. Also, it just so happened to be a little bit cheaper to fly out those days rather than fly a little bit closer. With the hotels and the airfare and everything all included, the longer stay was just a bit cheaper than a shorter stay. So we decided to opt for that. So like I said, we'll be landing on Wednesday the 25th. We have check-in at 3 p.m. We are staying at Hotel Cheyenne, which is Toy Story themed, so we're super excited to see Woody and Jessie and all of that good stuff hanging all around. It'll be very interesting to stay at all of those, or check out all of those resorts, because when I went in 2021, we didn't stay at a Disney resort, so we're looking forward to staying at this resort in particular just to be a little bit closer to the parks rather than a whole shuttle situation. It'll be much easier to just be a little bit closer. We do do have tickets for all of the 7 days. Actually, we have tickets for all of the 8 days that we will be in France. We will not be using all of those 8 tickets. One, because our flight takes off from Charles de Gaulle at 10 a.m., so we wouldn't have a chance to go and check out the park on the day that we leave, but we do have them from the moment that we check in to the moment that we check out. So with that, before we check in, we might go check out the Disney Village as well as the Disneyland Park. We might try and head in as soon as we are able. That first day, we are really gonna try and take our time and adjust to the time zone. Like I said, we have more than enough time in the parks, so we'll be checking out the parades, maybe going into some shops, probably getting some food, trying all that good stuff that's out there, but maybe even going to the Disney Village to do some of our shopping ahead of time for all the parks, everything that we need to get our Disney gear going. On Thursday, the 26th, it's similar. We'll have a full day, so we'd like to use that early access if our jet lag allows. We'll be heading over to Disney Studios, which may be one of the last times that we're able to refer to it as that. And then again, we'd like to do a lot of the shows out there, knowing that they can get a little full pretty quickly. We want to be able to see those maybe once, twice if necessary. So getting them out of the way at the beginning of the trip, making sure that we have enough time to see them once, and then if we'd like to try again for a better view, knowing that they get pretty full, we have that opportunity too later down in the trip. On Friday, we would like to head in and do Disneyland for early access. Again, this will be our first chance doing early access at Disneyland in particular, so we want to definitely get a head start on that. I would really love to do a lot of our character meet and greets on this day, particularly the Princess Pavilion. I have learned recently that the character meet and greets do run on a bit of a virtual queue, so knowing that we'll be in the park for early access that morning, it'll be great to get a head start on that virtual queue that opens up at 9:45. And then if we don't have a chance to get that one, it's no worries. We'll be back in the park by 2 p.m. to try again for those characters. Again, we have the chance to see the cavalcade, the parade, all of the shows, all of that good stuff. But we also have a dinner reservation at Bistro Chez Remy, which will be at 4. From what I understand, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, at least that's the name that I know it by from Epcot, will not be open for the days that we are there ahead of Adventure World opening. I believe it opens with Adventure World after some renovations. So we'll just be heading over to the restaurant, checking it out. I've never been able to go. I don't remember if it was shut down for COVID or if it just didn't work out for that trip, but I'm very excited. I am quite a big Ratatouille fan, so I'm super looking forward to that evening and that dinner. On Saturday, we think it would be really lovely to start the day in Disneyland for breakfast, get a really early day in, check out some rides, do the early access, and then breakfast at Victoria's on Main Street. Just looked like a really fun thing to do, a fun place to stop in the morning on Main Street without having the stress of a reservation going on. For the rest of the day, knowing that we've had a couple days in the parks beforehand and knowing that the next day is when Disney Adventure World is going to open, we definitely want to be off our feet, get some good recharge time in. So this Saturday, the 28th, is going to be a lot of us just hanging out at the different resorts. I made a little list for my mom and I to resort hop and check out all of the different resorts. We could go shopping, we could hang out, just kind of waltz around, see what all the different theming and all the resorts look like. If you were curious what the bar list looks like for all of the different resorts, for Art of Marvel, I have Bleecker Street Lounge and the Skyline Bar, but between the two, I have the Skyline Bar underlined. For Newport Bay, I have Captain's Quarters. For Sequoia Lodge, I have the Redwood Bar. For the Disneyland Hotel, I have the Fleur de Lis Bar. I also have that one underlined, so if we can't get to all of them, I definitely want to get to the Skyline Bar and the Fleur de Lis. For Santa Fe, I have the Rio Grande, and then back at home at Cheyenne, I have the Red Garter Saloon. I also have a dinner reservation for us at the Manhattan restaurant at 6 p.m., so I'm really looking forward to getting into that Art of Marvel hotel, checking out some of the dinners and the restaurant spaces that they have to offer. From what I understand, the downtown restaurant is really the one to aim for. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a different perspective when I was planning this trip. I didn't think that we'd want to have anything to do with going to get dinner, but after further consideration, I figured when in Rome, we might as well get some dinners while we're out there. So the downtown restaurant was all booked up, but I was able to snag one from the Manhattan. So it'll be really great to have a nice dinner, somewhere to just sit down, drink some wine, have a nice recharged dinner before we are up and running for the next morning at Disney Adventure World. So, of course, Sunday the 29th is the opening of Disney Adventure World. With it being the grand opening of this renewed park, there will not be any early access opportunity for us as resort guests. So we will be entering with everybody else bright and early at 9:30, which compared to the Orlando parks is just so funny to imagine that 9:30 is bright and early, but it is. We're over in Paris, so 9:30 is bright and early. We would really love to see everything that Adventure World has to offer, which is why we're trying to do all of those studio attractions earlier in the week so that we can really focus on the opening of Arendelle as well as the opening of the hold on, I forgot the name of it, as well as the general opening of Adventure Way. It looks like there's a little world showcase kind of vibe that's happening with the opening of Adventure Way. There's a nice bay out in the middle of the walkway. You sort of have the chance to go left or right all around it. It really does kind of have a bit of a Mexico or Canada, which way are we gonna start kind of vibe. So I'm very excited to see how that looks, how everything's gonna develop. I know that they are looking to open a Pride Lands Lion King sort of Splash Mountain vibe over to the left of the pavilion. So that'll be really cool to see what they have developed already, what they're still in the developing process of, oh my god, in the process of developing. Similar to that day in Disneyland, I am anticipating that the virtual queue for meeting Anna and Elsa is going to operate at that 9:45, 2 p.m. sort of rhythm. So we're looking to be in the park for 9:45, which I'm sure we will accomplish. Otherwise, we also have the opportunity to try again at 2, assuming that it does follow that same rhythm of a typical virtual queue. And then in the evening, there will be the premiere of Adventure World's Cascade of Lights. It looks to be a little bit of a mix of Luminous and World of Color, two shows that I just adore so much. So I'm super excited to have the opportunity to be someone in the crowd for the premiere of that show. I'm just so excited. I can barely process it. It's just so cool. I'm so excited. Again, on Monday the 30th, we would like to head back to Adventure World, check out everything that we might not have been able to see that first day, or just really have a chance to stop and smell the roses around that park. Check out all the tiny little details. I am such a details girly. I love looking around and seeing what Imagineering hid in this part of the park or in this part of an attraction. So I will definitely be on the lookout for those, maybe more than I was on the first day, because the first day I was more than likely just super excited to be there. And this second day to take it more as a pause, more of a chill day to check out my surroundings. I'm just really looking forward to that time to pause and see it all again. Again, we're kind of hoping to check out Cascade of Lights for a second night in a row. I'm really excited to have the chance to check out Cascade of Lights for a second night in a row, so that I can understand the strategy of the show the first night and then have a second chance to get a better seat perhaps the second night. I have no idea what the foot traffic's gonna be like, the guest congestion, how many guests there's gonna be, what the competition for spots like that is gonna be. So I'm excited to have a better idea that second day in a row and maybe even have a better chance to camp out and have an idea of what time we should be getting there. So the first day is definitely check everything out. The second day is gonna be learn from the first day and how can we smell the roses, but also do what we wanted to do the first day in a more efficient way on the second day. And then our last day is going to be Tuesday the 31st. We'd like to head back into Disneyland for early access. I'm anticipating that it's going to be a pretty chill day at Disneyland, knowing that Adventure World is going to be open from Sunday on. I'm hoping that Disneyland will have a bit of a slower day that we can really, again, just stop and smell the roses, really enjoy our last day at the parks, and our last chance to see the Disneyland fireworks, the Disney Tales of Magic. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I am really excited to check out the Regal View restaurant. I have not been able to get us a reservation for breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Regal View, but I have seen that there is a lounge, which operates as a bar, of course, so you're able to just walk in and make a reservation whenever you see fit, whenever it really fits into your schedule. With that, I know that it is the opening of the restaurant, so I'm anticipating that it's gonna be pretty chaotic, pretty busy. So we definitely want to try for a spot if we are able to at the Regal View Lounge. With that, that is the conclusion of our itinerary for the couple of days that we are at the Disneyland Paris Resort. Like I said, it's kind of redundant. It's kind of all over the place. The biggest standouts are the dinner reservations that we have in that bar hopping day that we have right in the middle of our stay. If possible, I'd really love to venture out to the rest of France. Of course, like I said, we do have park tickets already included every day of our stay with our stay at the Hotel Cheyenne. But if we're willing to sacrifice some of those park tickets for a day, I would love to go check out some of the local castles that I've seen around, some of the local zoos and aquariums and different shopping experiences. I would just really love to venture a bit out of the Disney bubble. We'll see if that's something that we end up doing, if it ends up being practical for us, or if we just kind of stick to the Disney resort. Of course, my mom and I are no strangers to Paris. We've been a time or two ourselves, so we are just very excited to experience Disney Adventure World and be one of the first few feet that walk into the front of that park. Of course, like I said, it's not a new park. I've been there before. It'll be my mom's first time for the entire trip in general, but that is everything that we have going on for our Disneyland Paris itinerary. I have a bit of a pack and prep coming up as far as what I'm packing for this trip, as well as things that should be packed for an international Disney trip, sort of the differences between packing for this trip and then packing for other trips. That is everything that I have planned for this video. If you'd be interested in following along for this adventure, I know that I'm gonna have so much fun filming it. I got a new camera just for this trip, so I'm super looking forward to it, and I'm super excited about everything that is coming our way in just 26 days. So with that, I will wrap up this video, but I will see you in Disneyland Paris. Bye!